What's up, everybody? Today we are talking about a sound that is very sharp, very slick, very sleek, very shiny. We're talking about diminished scale triads. Now, these are shapes that we can pull out of just a regular old diminished scale that help us to cut through the changes, usually on a dominant chord, which is how we're going to deal with it today. There is a PDF here for you to download, so check that out in the description. That's yours to take home as you like. And as always, everything we do around here is brought to you by Open Studio. Go to openstudiojazz.com to take a deeper dive on all this stuff. So, diminished scale triads. What are they and how can we use them? So, the diminished scale is a tool that we can use usually on a dominant chord, like a 5 chord going to the 1. Today we're going to be all in the key of E flat. So, the dominant chord, of course, is B flat 7, the 5 chord. A little 5-1 in the key of E flat. Now, the diminished scale that we use on that 5 chord is based off of the root of the 5 chord, the B flat, and it's a half whole diminished. You can either do whole half or half whole. They're the same scale, just starting from a different place. For dominant chords, we often like to think of the half whole diminished as a way to derive shapes and sounds. It's just a series of half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, all the way up. I also, this is just a little side note here, I like to think about it coming down as B flat 7 for the first 4 notes, then E7, the tritone sub, for 4 notes. B flat 7, E7, like half B flat 7, half E7 coming down. That's a way to think about it, but in general, it's just these notes. And there's a ton of shapes that we can get out of these 8 notes. Now, some of those shapes make triads. So if we look here, just below our half whole diminished scale, we can actually get 4 different major triads. The B flat major triad, that's convenient because it's a B flat 7. The D flat major triad, right, up a minor third. If we keep going up in minor thirds, we can get an E major triad and a G triad. I'm playing just a B flat 7, just a regular ugly old root 3 7 here in my left hand. But you can see all these triads, they work, you know, on the piano just as upper extensions, essentially. We could also, interestingly, get the minor triad from each of these same roots. So we can get B flat minor, D flat minor, E minor, and G minor, all from those same notes. That's all the 8 notes of that half whole diminished scale. That's how we're getting these triads. There's more. There's diminished triads we can get, but we're just going to focus on these 8 triads today. The B flat, D flat, E, and G major triads, and the B flat, D flat, E, and G minor triads, and I'll show you how you can kind of mix those up as we go. Isn't that cool? Like, just those 4 shapes alone, there's so much that we can do. So let's check out, how might we use this sound? Like, what does it mean to cut through the changes, and how can we use this on our dominant chords? So I have examples of how we can use just a single one of these triads on our dominant chords to really help us get through. I did a video just earlier this week of Aaron Parks playing over Solar, and he was doing this quite a bit, and it just gives you this really sharp, crisp, crispy 8th note modern sound. So check it out here. We want a bit of a modern sound. So this B flat 7 here, we're just going to play around with this G major triad. And I have some other language here that can help us to kind of get through it, but using it in all different kinds of ways. Up, down, down, up, whatever variety. I'm using 4 notes like to the octave here. However we want to do it, it sounds pretty cool. All you have to do is experiment and get the sounds you love in your playing. But check this out, a little 2-5-1 in the key of E flat. And it gets us that sound. Let's try playing this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and let's loop it. Again, just loop it with me. Again, applying that G major triad here. One more time, play it with me. Now, I started with that G major triad because this is one that you hear most commonly used to get that half-whole diminished sound. The triad from the sixth below the root of our dominant chord, so B flat, the sixth above, right? The sixth degree of B flat is G, and so we'd use this major triad based on that. Now, the second most used is the triad based a tritone away, so the E major triad. So again, we're just going down in minor thirds here. But this E major triad is used all the time too. So we could do a very similar thing here. Right, a very similar shape of a line. And just like we were using G, we can use E. Right? Just for throwing one of these four triads. Same shape. Let's try this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Play with me. And again. Woo. Digging my own stuff here. Sorry about that. Like that. That sounds good. Woo. Again. I'm not sorry. That sounds awesome. Again. One more time, check it out. So again, we can use that G major triad, the E major triad. We could also use the other two triads. We'll start with D flat. Check this out. Just going down here. So we've done G, we've done E. Now we can do even one more down, D flat. Isn't that great? I love this one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and play with me here. Any instrument, play along. Again. It's a darker sound, the D flat triad. Last time. It's so good. So again, G triad, E triad, and D flat. We're just doing them one at a time here. Let's do the B flat triad. This one's obvious, right? Because it's a B flat 7. This is going to sound the most inside. But check it out. We have our F minor 702 chord. Same thing, just a B flat triad. It still sounds rather modern, even though it's completely inside. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Again. Same shape of the line as before. 2 more times. Last time. Okay, so we've done all 4 major triads here just on their own, little single triads over that dominant 7 chord, over that 5 chord. We've done G, E, D flat, and B flat major triad. So let's just do a general play along over a 2-5-1 in the key of E flat. And I want you to just experiment. See if you can throw in one of those triads. Only one. We're just sticking to one. This is a little restrictive practice here. Just one triad over that B flat 7. Either G, E, D flat, or B flat. See if you can find something that you like to play over those triads. I'll play a little accompaniment. You can play around on the 2 and the 1 chord as well, but on that 5 chord, see if you can fit in the G major, E major, D flat major, or B flat major triads. Let's do it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Get one of those triads in either G major, E major, D flat major, or B flat major. Four more times. You got it. Last time. Beautiful. Okay, so that's adding one triad. By the way, if you're digging this kind of work here at Open Studio, go ahead and hit the like button. Maybe hit the subscribe. We're not going to hate on you for hitting the subscribe button around here. In fact, we like that. So we can actually do with these diminished scale triad shapes, we can do more than just one at a time. We can do two, and we can combine actually all of these if we want to. But let's start by doing double triads. So we'll do two here on the 5 chord. So I have another bit of an etude. So check it out. So on our 5 chord, we're going to go up the G minor triad. So adding in the minor triad to all this. Remember, we can do major or minor or kind of both on any of these G, E, D flat, and B flat triads over the B flat 7. And then we're going to go down the E major triad. This is very similar to what we transcribed with Aaron Parks just the other day. This little bit of language here. And then over the E flat there, that's just a bit of language that I completely wrote on my own. Let's try it. Let's set our metronome here. See how it sounds. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. 2, 3 again. Two, 3, and up the G minor, down the E major. Isn't that awesome? One more time. 2, 3, and. Beautiful. Okay, let's do two more. We can do just what we did before. We can do all these different combinations. So a very similar shape. Up the E minor triad, all over the B flat 7, right? And these are all notes from that B flat half whole diminished scale. Up the E minor, down the D flat major. This pattern of like up one, down the other is very handy. Let's try this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Play with me. And. Woo. Again, 2, 3, and. Two, 3 again. Up the E minor, down the D flat major. Hey. 2, 3, and I said D flat, and I played D flat. Okay, that's our second version of this. What if we kept going here? So here is some more of this very same thing. Up the D flat minor, and then down the B flat major. Some notes here on how I'm spelling this out. Y'all know I love to argue about enharmonic spellings. That's like one of my favorite things to do in YouTube comments. Get in there and have it out about enharmonic spellings. But I'm trying my best here to just make it as clear as possible, spelling out the triad without making it super hard to read. So it's a little balance. The diminished scales are always difficult enharmonically, you know, between sharps and flats. So I'm doing what I think is right. And if you disagree, please put it in the comments, because, you know, I like getting in there about that. So let's check this out. So we'll go up D flat minor, down B flat major. This is a great one. Let's try it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Try it again. 2, 3, and. So crispy. 1, 2, 3, and. 1, 2, 3 again. This is why people use them. 2, 3 again. This sound. I love it so much. 2, 3 again. Last time, 2, 3 again. Woo! Isn't that great? So crisp, so clear, just sharp as a tack. Beautiful. All right, one more of the double triads. So our last two pairs of triads here, our last two triads, up the B flat minor and down the G major. I love this sound of up one of the minors, and then luckily these connect here. The third, that flat 3 of B flat, the third of the B flat minor, goes right in chromatically to the 5th of the G major. So it just works out perfectly. All of these. It's beautiful. Let's try this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and... 2, 3 again. Two, 3 again. Last time, 3 again. This is what triads do. The shape of the triad, our ear just knows them so well. It's so drawn to them that we can do all these cool, crazy things with them, and it just sounds amazing, right? Let's do the same thing we did before with the single triads, how we were just trying to put, practice improvising around that 5 chord and putting the singles in. Let's do the same thing. Let's just do a 2, 5, 1 in the key of E flat here with a bar each, right, for the 2, a bar for the 5, 2 bars for the 1. And then on the 5 chord, see if you can combine 2 of these triads, and it really could be any 2, but see maybe if you could do up a minor, down a major, at least getting the same concept here that we have, where you can practice that sound over that 5 chord. Let's see if you can do it. So you can kind of do your own thing on the 2 chord, see if you can set it up, do your own thing on the 1 chord, see if you can finish it off. But on that 5 chord, where the tension happens, see if you can do these 2 triads from the diminished scale. Let's try it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and... Again. Two more times. You got it. Last time. Feels pretty good. Okay, let's do one more version of this. Again, please download the PDF. That's yours to take with you. It has all of these examples. It has the little breakdown in the beginning. And then don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel before. We do all this kind of nuts and bolts stuff all the time. So hit us up. Okay, so we could actually do all of the triads in this one version of a 5-1 here that we're going to do. Actually, there's several ways that you can mix in all the triads. You can literally just go through and cycle through, and you hear players figure this stuff out by cycling through the triads. That's totally appropriate. It's totally fine. In fact, you can learn a lot doing that. I don't like to do that as much anymore. I like to kind of figure out cool ways I can work through them as opposed to just like cycling through. But I do think there is value in spending some time just kind of going through the inversions, cycling through. Definitely getting that in your hands, in your mind first is a great way to get to the promised land of making melodies with this and really kind of, playing these in a melodic way that isn't just like dagadat, dagadat, dagadat. But it is fun to go through. So we can actually hit up every single one of these triads, both major and minor. So one of the things that you hear a lot of modern players do with this, and what we kind of saw Aaron Parks do with this, and what we kind of hinted at in our previous version of this is, even though we're kind of going from our G minor, like here, if I go from G minor to E major, there is that B flat to B. That's almost G minor and major at the same time. And you hear players like Keith Jarrett and Kenny Kirkland and Brad Meldau and Aaron Parks do that major and minor triad together. So we can kind of do that. We can mix these. You hear this sound all the time. So we'll start here on B flat 7, just 2 bars of B flat 7, and check it out. We go down the D flat minor and major. Right? It starts on that minor third, down the D flat minor, and ends on the major third. So you have on the top half D flat major, D flat minor, and the bottom half D flat major. That's that kind of sharp 9 sound. But then you can just, like everything with diminished harmony, you can move it around in minor thirds. So the next section there is B flat minor and then B flat major. Top 3 notes are B flat minor, bottom 3 notes are B flat major. And then the same thing, G minor, G major, E minor, E major. So this whole thing right here is something you hear if you're gonna cycle through, right? And you're gonna do these. Oh, it's so nice. It becomes just all this tension that you can build using these triads based off the diminished scale. Let's try it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Again, 1, 2, 3, and. Woo! Again, 1, 2, 3, and. Again, 1, 2, 3, and. Last time, 1, 2, 3, and. Let's take it up a little bit. These sound really good once we get them going. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Again, 1, 2, 3, and. We just put our hands in these shapes a little bit faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Again, 1, 2, 3, and. 1, 2, 3, again. 1, 2, 3, again. Woo. One more tempo here. One more tempo. Big kid tempo. Here we go. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Woo. 1, 2, 3, and. 1, 2, 3, again. 2, 3, and. 1, 2, 3, again. 1, 2, 3, and. Last time. There it is, folks. Those are our triads based off the diminished scale. Aren't those fun? Those are super useful. There's a ton of different ways you can do it. Just those major and minor triads give us so much work to do. Again, don't forget to download that PDF. Hit us up at openstudiojazz.com to go on a deeper dive. And thanks, everybody. Thanks for your work today. I'll be back with more next week. Until then, happy practicing, folks. Cheers.